It's officially been one whole year and a whole season of riding since I've owned my Honda CB900. In 2024, I had been searching for a Honda CB919 and it was on and off about it. I really wanted to get the bike, but they were quite hard to find. I was really looking for an RC51 and I finally obtained the RC51, and a few months went by and something caught my eye. There was a motorcycle that was listed a few months earlier that I had seen at a price point that was about right for a 919 Hornet, but the listing was really bad. A few months later, I noticed that the listing had been marked down, and I immediately went and checked the bike out. And it was a super clean CB900. I ended up picking up the bike. It only had 17,000 miles on it, and I rode it a bunch this year. I like to call this CB900 my daily. I rode the bike any opportunity that I had, unless I wanted to take something special out. If I just wanted to ride a motorcycle, I would hop on my 919. It's a naked bike that makes about 115 horsepower. They're really fast for what they are and a really enjoyable bike on the street. I've gone back and forth between keeping it or selling it, and at the moment I'm still torn between the two. It's a really fun bike, and I think it would be even more fun if I was to modify it a little bit, so maybe next year we're gonna have to give it a couple of bits and see whether I want to keep it. A bigger reason of why I want to sell it is because I've really experienced the bike for what it is. I've had fun, I've put miles on it, but if I do sell the bike, it'll give me another opportunity to do the same thing with another platform. But to talk about the actual platform of the CB900, it's amazing. It's one of the best motorcycles that you can just get on and ride and not worry about anything. When I was doing some research on the 919, I found out that it was CBR derived. They had a motor taken from a CBR, changed up a little bit, made to be a little bit easier and a little less fast. It was an upright, naked bike from the early days. They came out in the early 2000s, and I have the final year of production, a 2007, where they improved on a few things in the 04-05 model year, including adjustable front suspension. The motorcycle features a 919 4-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. I made a review on it in the past. If you guys are interested, check that out after this one. But the biggest thing I was looking into was, what is the reliability like? Yes, it's a Honda, but it's also a sport bike. So when it comes down to it, what do I really have to do? And are there any weird problems that this generation of bike has? Well, after looking over it, these things are pretty much bulletproof. And to me, a motorcycle that has no problems is too good to be true. There's a couple of weird quirks they have, but when it comes down to the forums and you're reading bigger issues, there's pretty much nothing. There's many instances of these bikes going well over 100,000 miles without any problems. Now in 2025, there's a couple downsides to the bike. A few of those downsides are, number one, they are very hard to find. Many of these bikes were destroyed. And number two, the people who are selling them tend to be a little unrealistic with their prices. This is because there's not that many of them out there, but it's not a motorcycle that's in super high demand at this point in time. The big one, the CB1000 and the CB1, as well as the CB900, they're all similar bikes from the era, all naked sport bikes from Honda, and they're not that desirable if we're being honest. Yes, there's a cult following with these bikes, especially the 919, but that cult following isn't that big, and when it comes down to the general market, usually a younger enthusiast or someone that wants to get into a faster bike will trend towards these motorcycles, but there's not a huge demand with them because they're super cool or unique or something crazy or different. Now, I gotta interrupt the video really quickly. For those who do not know, we have an apparel company called Vintage Racing Club. If you guys have not already checked out, we have a few limited edition items currently on it, as well as our house tees, and we just dropped these limited but not limited edition house hats. Now, as far as riding it, there's a couple of things I don't like and a few things I do like. The 919 is very well known for vibrating. It has a buzzing in the handlebar, a buzzing in your feet, a buzzing in the seat, and it's just a little bit more vibrational than you would expect different bikes of the same category to be. I think it's just because it has a sport bike motor and the engine mounts are just a little bit buzzy that it's something that when you first ride the bike, you're like, oh my god, why does this do what it does? But when you change up the handlebar, things like that, things I haven't done, but now that I've also got used to the bike, those things aren't quite as apparent as they used to be. The motorcycle has given me 0 issues. Absolutely no issue. The only thing I have ever done to this bike is change the oil, turn the key, and ride it. I mean, the bike only has 18,000 miles on it, but it is also almost 20 years old at this point in time. And 20 years does things to motorcycles, and this motorcycle hasn't needed anything from me. I've cleaned the chain, I've lubed the chain, the bike's gonna need tires sooner than later, but those are just normal maintenance things that come with mileage and age. If you're looking for an all-around perfect motorcycle, there's very few bikes that do it better than the CB900. When we talk about other bikes I would want to replace this thing with, there's only a few bikes that come to my mind, and one of those is a Busa, because it is absolutely insane how much motorcycle you can get for the money with those bikes. The Busa wouldn't be better than the CB900 in anything other than straight line. The only other bike that really comes to my mind is the VFR. The VFR is a little bit more sporty in terms of its nature. You're a little bit more forward on a VFR, but any generation, particularly the early 800s with the gear cams, the VTEC 800, or even the 1200. And with the 1200, it makes a lot more horsepower, I should say, than the 900 does. And also the V4 platform, you have that low end torque that you don't have with the CB900. But that's just a characteristic of the inline 4. It's not a motorcycle that you want to put huge miles on at a time, not like 300-400 miles at a time. It's not a big cruiser like that, but it is a bike that I've gone out, put 100+ miles out in a day, brought it back, and I wasn't hurting like some of my other bikes. I've done that with the Buell. I come back and it's a sport bike. It hurts. I've done it with other motorcycles, and it's just not that comfortable. But with the 900, completely stock seat, stock everything, it does it very comfortably. The only thing that I first noticed, again, the vibration in the handlebar, when I brought it home, I rode it 2 hours on the highway, 70 miles per hour plus, my hands were tingling for a few minutes. Usually that doesn't really happen with any other motorcycle. I rode an R6 a similar distance on the same highway, and my hands were fine afterwards. My ears, on the other hand, were absolutely decimated because that thing was straight piped. But the 900 has that vibration that can be fixed. And I've said that in so many videos, and people are like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. It's something you have to know. And if you're an owner of one of the bikes and you do say that it's not apparent, it's something you get used to, believe it or not. And I've got used to it over the year that I've owned the bike. It's not really one of those bikes that you go to a gas station and people come up to you like, oh my god, what is this? But occasionally, I've had 1 or 2 people kind of walk up to me and go, whoa, is this a 919 Hornet? I'm like, yeah, it is. So it's still a motorcycle people can appreciate. And if you're an enthusiast, I know if I saw another clean Hornet, I would kind of be like, whoa, where did you get this thing from? But most of the time, you're not going to have most motorcyclists going, oh my god, dude, this is sick. But it's just a bike you can get on and put miles on. This thing is more of a tool than a fun motorcycle. But it's also a fun motorcycle, if that makes sense. If you want a one motorcycle solution and you're looking to spend less than $4,000, get yourself one of these bikes, do a couple of modifications to it, and maintain it, and just turnkey. It's fuel injected, disc brakes, but it's still raw, analog, and a whole lot of fun. I've wanted to make more videos with the bike, but I've said everything that there is to say, and I wanted to do a 1-year recap to bring attention to the bike once again. It's been a while since I've really recorded it. It's in storage now. It's literally snowing outside as I'm filming this. But I cannot talk enough good about this bike. It basically does nothing wrong that isn't easily correctable. If you're thinking about buying one, make sure you do so. I'm torn. I want to know what you guys want to see with the bike. Would you enjoy seeing me do a few mods to it and talking about some improvements we can make with it? Changing the exhaust, handlebar, minor things to make the bike better and see how much better it gets, or do we move on to something else? I'm torn. Like I said, it's tough for me to sell the bike because I enjoy it so much, but I also would like to experience different platforms. It really depends how the winter goes. I gotta get rid of some bikes sooner than later, and it might be on the list, it might not. We'll see. But that's all I got for this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, do me a favor, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.